Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Eagles Film Room here on Philly Sports Network with myself, Liam Jenkins. The NFL draft is in the books and the Eagles walk away from it with a much more talented and versatile roster. One of the big reasons for that was their second round pick after a big trade back, Dallas Goedert, a tight end out of South Dakota State. At 6'5", 260 pounds, the man is an absolute mismatch nightmare after registering back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, which are fairly hard to miss. But what does he bring to the Eagles table, and how much will the offense change with his inclusion in formations? It's time to take a look at the eye in the sky once again and break it down. So let's start with the basics. If Goedert is lining up over a defensive back, it's probably not going to end too well for the defensive back. And the reason for that is that he's got such a great catch radius, it can only really be rivaled by wide receivers at the next level. But if he leaps up and high points the ball like this, brings it down accurately, there's only so much a DB who's 6 inches shorter can really do in that situation. And he uses that time and time again. Even on screen passes where that ball has been thrown so far ahead of him, his long range arms push it back into his body and turn a nothing into something for South Dakota State. It really opens up the middle of the field, and even inside the red zone we can see that same logic apply. Here we see Goedert doing his finest Odell Beckham Jr. impression, and the best part is he makes it look so casual, like that's an everyday move for a 6'5" tight end to make. The man is an absolute specimen of an athlete, and again, high pointing that ball, the quarterback has got such a large throwing window, it's almost toying with the defensive opposition. His route running is just as crisp as well. He cuts right across the face of the safety on this play, shows that same level of athleticism again by jumping up to snag that ball and brings South Dakota State just inside the 10-yard line. It's a great play by the tight end, and on a play action look here, something we could see plenty of times in Philadelphia, Goedert's just able to leap in front and snag the ball in his direction. The man is just a complete catching machine. Those back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons are not really hard to understand where they came from. He also ranked 4th in school history in total receiving yards. That doesn't just happen by being a big body. He also runs an eclectic and very crisp route tree, as we see here on this post route, cuts inside and locates the ball so well that the quarterback's able to drop the ball in the bucket over the top like a Steph Curry three-pointer. And look at Goedert bending that back backwards, looking up at the sky for the ball and just holding his arms out perfectly for that swish sound by the quarterback. Again, the same can be seen here, only the tight end uses his frame to really box out the defensive back who's all over him on this play. And as the ball gets dropped into the bucket over the top, just look at the way he shields it once the reception's made. Goedert then immediately turns forward and bends down. That's going to be a touchdown all day long. It's something he does time and time again, and while we're talking of adjustments, this may be the smartest play that we see from Goedert's playbook that's available to see online. The tight end goes in for a huge completion here, rallying South Dakota State down the field, but that ball wasn't really intended for him if we look at the replay. So the quarterback goes through his reads, rolls outside, and at this point Goedert sees the quarterback scrambling. There are 3 defenders almost keeping him triangulated, if that's a word, in that area of the field. The quarterback then throws left, and Goedert immediately turns and adjusts to the ball, knowing the receiver's covered, and bursts in the other direction. He's got a great level of acceleration. It does not take him long to get to the second level, and that is a huge asset when you're looking at the NFL. While we're on the topic of acceleration, he may not be the fastest prospect in his class, but he is one of the most aware. What Goedert does supremely well is use his frame and his physicality to box out defenders on routes and really open up separation from the line of scrimmage. We see on here what's a simple route over the top designed to curl around the defensive back and shield the ball away. He does it so well and fluidly in his movement that it's just an easy check down for the quarterback on a key 3rd and 7. Running from the seam here, he just cuts inside, brings the ball in with a nice catch radius, and there is no way the DB is getting anywhere near the pigskin right there. We see this time and time again, and one-on-one with a safety just cuts across his face, and at that point the safety's then got a 6'5" tight end to worry about. We'll see it again here, the safety's vision who's trying to look back for the ball by the time the tight end's ahead of him. There's only so much you can see when you've got a massive white jersey in front of you, and while the ball was incomplete, this was a brilliant route by Goedert. Now I mentioned Goedert's productivity in the red zone, but what about as a receiver on a fade route? Well, he can do that as well, with a great way to brush past the defensive back at the line, a late adjustment to the ball, and shields it after the reception is made. That is textbook wide receiver stuff. but the knock on his game has always been blocking, that he's not quite the complete prospect and that he shouldn't really be a first round pick, more a second. That's wrong as well, because even at this level we can see some level of efficiency, that he's got the basics down. Against a defensive end here, we see him physically forklift the defensive end, which is an offensive line technique, out of the way. He gets both hands underneath the chest of the defensive end and it has to spin late out to even have a chance of bringing down the running back. Goedert does a great job of initiating contact and sustaining a block, and that's all you could really want from a tight end when he's asked to block. Now sure, at the next level those tasks are going to be greater, your position's going to be stronger, but Justin Peel is a fantastic coach and already the fundamentals are there. So what are the Eagles getting in Dallas Goedert from South Dakota State? They're getting a versatile tight end who is a dominant pass catcher. They're getting a replacement for what they lost in Pederson with a much bigger, a much more eccentric tight end with a bigger catch radius. It's going to be a fun season to watch, and this whole Eagles offense is going to be blown wide open once again. Thank you so much for watching, guys. It's been a real pleasure making this video. We're going to have every Eagles draft pick over the next few weeks, just breaking down their film. If you're down for that, if you like what we're doing, hit that like button, hit subscribe. It really does mean the world to us. Let's try and get to 2,000 subscribers before the start of the regular season. My name is Liam Jenkins, and we'll see you for another Eagles Film Room next week.